This is going to be your 100% shiny hunting guide for Wild Zone 5 in Pokémon Legends Z-A. I'll be showing you all the tricks and methods on how to catch every single shiny Pokémon in Wild Zone 5 to help you fully complete your shiny Pokédex. Wild Zone 5 is interesting because there are Pokémon scattered everywhere, from tunnels to different sections to even rooftops, and we need to shiny hunt them all. So never miss out by hitting the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you never miss out on videos like this. And now let's get you some shiny Pokémon. The Pokémon we'll be hunting in this zone are going to be Pidgey, Pidgeotto, Abra, Bellsprout, Electrike, Venipede, and Bunnelby. The fixed alpha spawns in this zone are going to be an alpha Bellsprout at the entrance of Wild Zone 5 and an alpha Whirlipede, which you're going to find in a little tunnel. Remember, in order to get the 5% chance of any Pokemon being an alpha Pokemon, you need to complete Mabel's request by catching all the Pokemon at least once in this area that are on your mini-map. For full shiny dex completionists, you're going to need 3 Pidgey. 1 to keep as Pidgey, 1 to evolve to Pidgeotto at level 18, unless you catch the Pidgeotto in the zone, and 1 to evolve at level 36 into Pidgeot. And Pidgeot is going to have a Mega Evolution. For the Abra line, you're going to need to catch 5. 1 Abra, 2 male and female for Kadabra because of the mustaches, 2 male and female to evolve once you trade those Kadabras, which will evolve into Alakazam, and that's going to also have male and female differences, and this Pokemon gets a Mega Evolution. You'll need 3 Bellsprout, 1 to keep as Bellsprout, 1 to evolve into Weeping Bell at level 21, and then 1 to evolve into Victory Bell once you give it a Leaf Stone, and this Pokemon has a Mega. You'll need 2 Electrike, 1 to keep as Electrike, and 1 to evolve into Manectric at level 26, and this Pokemon also has a Mega. You'll need 3 Venipede, 1 to keep as Venipede, 1 to evolve into Whirlipede at level 22, and 1 to evolve into Scolipede at level 30, and this Pokemon has a brand new Mega in this game. You'll need 2 Bunnelby, 1 to keep as Bunnelby, and 1 to evolve into Diggersby at level 20. The base shiny odds are going to be 1 out of 4,096, while shiny odds with the shiny charm are going to be 1 out of 1,024.38. Alright, here we are at Wild Zone number 5, and I want to talk to you a little bit something different when it comes to the fast travel method, which is simply taking your controller, hovering over the point of Wild Zone, and fast traveling over and over again. Now, simply what this does is going to cycle all the Pokemon within 50 meters of you. Now, this is really cool. If you're already at the point in the game where you have unlocked Wild Zone 16, which is going to be behind you, by you fast traveling to Wild Zone 5, you're also auto-refreshing the chance of that Froakie behind you to actually be a shiny Pokemon, as well as any of these Pokemon behind you, which is really, really cool. But that's only if you're 16. If you're not at 16 unlocked, then you're focusing on just, we're locking in on 5. I just want to point that out to anyone further in the game. So Wild Zone 5, right? Let's drop a pin and see exactly where we are. We're going to go inside and see exactly what we can get from the meter range, right? So from 50 meters, we're going to kind of pull over to the right over here, and you're going to see something pretty interesting, right? We're going to see certain Pokemon within a range. So Bunnelby sometimes comes in that range. Sometimes you'll catch a Venipede possibly spawning in within that range, and maybe possibly a Bellsprout. These spawns do shift around a bit, and they flip-flop. So depending on what happens, you could get one of these Pokemon to show up as shiny. This has happened even in my Wild Zone 16 video where I have fast traveled and then I came inside. As you can see, here is a little Bellsprout within the 50 meters as well. So what you want to keep in mind for the fast travel point is pretty much that's gonna net you those Pokemon. Now let's talk about the next method, which is going to be called the run and reset method. This is compensating for the fact that fast travel limits you to 50 meters, and this is going to allow you to constantly move and then reset your position. So check this out, right? When we go into Wild Zone 5, we have now spawned in all the Pokemon on the left side over there. As you can see, they're visible as our character's walking, right? So we're running down this lane. There's going to be a Pidgey that normally spawns here. I think I just scared it off. As well as, look up here. We can actually see a Pidgeotto on the roof. And the reason why we see Pidgeotto when we're walking is because the roof is within the 10-meter range of spawning, which is really nice to know. Also, there's other Pidgeys over here. And by running and resetting, we're also going to see there's an Alpha Bellsprout. So all you need to do is simply just get to the part where you see the Alpha Bellsprout, and then you're going to reset. So now that I showed you exactly how that works, let's do an actual example of a run and reset so you can see how fast or efficient you can make it. Obviously, this changes depending on if an alpha Pokemon spots you, but here's what you're going to do. Just run straight in. Make sure to see all the Pokemon in the area. Doesn't matter. Okay, that's it. We spawned in all the Pokemon. We're going to do that again. You can check for shinies later because the game is obviously going to preserve the shinies. But if you see a shiny, save because Pidgeys fly away. So that's all you have to keep in mind when it comes to this. That's it. I'm seeing all these. Boom. Do that again. And I was actually able to net myself some shinies because of this method. So running resets your surefire way of getting everything within the zone. Oh, and if you're curious about this hoodie I'm wearing, this is a Lugia one. It's 100 Thieves and Pokemon collaboration. I will link it down below. I bought this myself. This is not sponsored. Now let's talk about the bench method, because the bench method is, believe it or not, I know we say benches are broken, but the bench is going to get you something you might not even expect in this zone. So let's head over to the bench area right over here, and we're going to specifically talk about this bench where I am located. So we're going to go like that, place my pin exactly where I am. So this pin is of course going to cover all the Pokemon within this area, correct? You can see that. It's really obvious. That's great. Now, I want to show you what happens when we do a bench reset within the area, what else we could possibly get. So let's run a bench reset. This is really cool, by the way. Usually our rule, at least in my videos, is bench resets. We only care about Pokemon on the floor level. Bench resets on a roof, we're able to care about all the Pokemon from the roof and down, but from the floor, we usually don't care about the roof Pokemon on a bench reset. However, for this wild zone, if I do turn around, you can see that that Pidgeotto is spawned in the back, which is really cool, which means we have that specific roof that we can get a shiny Pidgeotto. I know a lot of people don't care too much about Pidgeotto because Pidgeys are like everywhere in the game, but it's the fact that you get a Pidgeotto, okay, as a shiny possibly within the zone. So not only that, but check this out. So right on your mini map over here, if you open it up and you look over where blue sector 1 is, right in that exact spot is where an Electrike is going to spawn. We'll get to where to find this Electrike in a bit, but you are refreshing the Electrike that spawns over here on your map. And you can see that that is less than 50 meters away. And I'll get to showing you that Electrike later in this video, but just know you're spawning Electrike, you're spawning Pidgeotto, you're even spawning all the Bellsprout, Bunnelbys, you know, lots of stuff. This is very, very OP. Also, don't forget from the bench that other Pokemon in the other zone, if you have it unlocked, also might become shiny. For example, this Alpha Ampharos could be shiny, or this Flaffy could be shiny, or even Pokemon down over there could end up being shiny like the Florges or a Barbarnacle at nighttime. So be aware of that at all times. Of course, do not forget for the bench reset method, all you have to do to make it a little more automated is take your controller, grab a rubber band, make sure the joystick is facing down, not to the side, so your character is running to the bench, and you're spamming the A button over and over again. That way you're recycling to the day and night over and over. And the 8BitDo Pro 3 controller can do every single thing that we've talked about in this video, from walking into a zone and resetting to even bench resetting. But one of the most easiest ones is going to macro a bench reset on this controller, where you simply just upload the file into your controller, or you can create it on your own within the software and just loop it and walk away, go to sleep, and come back, and you'll have your own shiny Pokemon. Link for this is in the description, and our Discord is also sharing macros that you can copy for yourself at all times, as well as creating a giant Google Sheet for everyone to use. This stuff is all linked down in the description below. All right, now let me take you to the next part of Wild Zone 5, because it's actually like 3 layers in a way. It's the main layer, the roof layer, and this whole separate section of a layer. So we're gonna walk towards this direction over here. Usually in your game, this is usually blocked by a bunch of slime. You just use a water Pokemon attack to get through that. Now we're gonna go down this way, past the water. Boom, boom, boom. There's a little Bellsprout over here. There's a tunnel there. We're gonna go to that tunnel right after. But first, let's go to the rooftops. And we've pretty much covered how to get Pidgeys and Pidgeottos. And now we're gonna talk to you about grabbing some Abras, because as you can see here, there are Abras on this roof, and this is able to be hunted within the Wild Zone. And Abras are a Pokemon that does flee when they see you. So when you make them run, you catch them or defeat them, there's gonna be a respawn timer on them, which is gonna be 3 minutes. So I'm gonna make this Abra run away from me. So he saw me. I believe he should be disappearing. There's that. That's 1. Start the timer. So essentially, once you take out the Abras, all you're gonna have to do is wait 180 seconds or 3 minutes and save right before the 3-minute mark. Oh, nice. Okay, so this one spawned and that one spawned. Okay, cool. So what you're gonna do is then once you have the save down, you're gonna reset your game, open it up again, and we're gonna get completely 2 different spawns. Here we are, spawn number 1. There it is. That is going to be a 13 male, and below us is going to be a 13 male. One more time just to make sure. And this is a 14 female, and below us is a 13 male. All right, so pretty much that's how it's gonna work. I think there's a small range between them, but they're pretty much just spawn in like that. That one just disappeared. But you're gonna reset and respawn for both of these Abras. Okay, now from this rooftop, let's head down to our next location, which is that tunnel I said we're going to avoid. Drop down, boom. And now we're here at this tunnel. All right, now a lot of players were hunting a certain Pokemon within the tunnels just like this. So they would walk up here, and there would be a static alpha Whirlipede right over here. Whirlipede. There it is. And you would have to despawn it out by going back like this. See that? That's a lot of work. And then go back in and respawn it again. Now, this is a viable method, and this would be what we call the run and despawn trick. However, I'm not a big fan of the run and despawn for this specific area. This is only going to be viable hunt for you if you are early in the game and have not unlocked the Lumio sewers. So specifically, if you're hunting this static alpha, do this trick, the run and despawn. But for my players who are mostly endgame and have Shiny Charm, you're going to use the Lumio sewers as your fast travel point. Before I show you the Lumio sewer method, let me just show you the area through this tunnel, because I feel like I should definitely show you this area. So there's going to be a Whirlipede over here, just like this, dancing around, having a great time. But you're also going to find a ton of Venipedes in this area. There's like a ton. There's like 1, 2, 3 Venipedes here, 4 Venipedes here. And up there at that marker is going to be where an Electrike is, just hanging out. And through this little Zone 5 exit down here is where your Lumio sewers are, and this is also a fast travel point, and you have an Ariados just hanging around over there. So now let me tell you about the Lumio sewers for those who have it unlocked as a fast travel method with a little walk up, but using another fast travel point. So it is a run and reset method. When you do that fast travel point, you're going to find an Ariados. Actually here, it's going to move around. I didn't know it moves around. I thought it was always in one spot. I guess it moves around, but that Ariados is going to be a Pokemon that is going to be here. So you are kind of resetting for that Pokemon as a bonus one, but what you're essentially doing when you're going to the Lumio sewers is you're going there, and then you're just going to immediately walk backwards like this, and then you're going to walk right up to the door, and here's what you're going to see. You're going to see not only this Pokemon over here, not the Whirlipede, but you're going to see the pre-evolutions running around on the map. Now, if you go outside, here's what's really cool. Remember that Electrike I talked to you earlier about? Well, it's actually up there at that same marker I left the entire game. So what you're doing by going to this fast travel point is you're also refreshing for that Electrike at the exact same time. So just to give you an idea exactly all the Pokemon you're refreshing here, take a look at what's over here. There he is, your little Electrike. He's here in this area. So you're pretty much coming out of the zone, doing the fast travel point, and you're getting all of these Pokemon here. Literally, the Whirlipede, the Venipede. It's great stuff. And, you know, this has a brand new Mega in the game. So, again, real quick for everyone, Lumio sewers, right? This is the exact method you're going to do. From Lumio sewers, to save yourself some time, you could just hit B and go like this, as opposed to wasting your time turning around, and just have your character walk like this. Even though you're not looking, it's saving you from a whole entire motion turn. You're popping out like that, and then you're going to reset again at the Lumio sewers over and over again. I feel like it's a little more movement to turn around and then see everything. Like, this is more work for your hand, unless you're running a macro for this. 8-bit do in description below. But if you're not doing that, this is the way you would probably want to do it over and over again. And believe it or not, this is exactly how I got my Whirlipede to show up. With all these methods, you should have no problem getting all the shiny Pokemon within this area. So let me know which shiny hunting method you're going to use. And if you haven't unlocked the Lumio sewers, you should click on that video over here. And if you need another shiny video, it's over here.